FC Barcelona are living through a double crisis. One is sporting. The other is institutional.
I think it's, I don't want to speak about that because everyone saw, I think, the situation before the second goal, but at the end, Girona deserved it. They play in the second half, they had a lot of chances. We defend very bad, especially in the transition.
And if we're going to be honest, truly honest, we have to talk about both. On the pitch, this team has been inconsistent, fragile in transitions, and tactically exposed. That part is on Hansi Flick and the players. Off the pitch, the refereeing situation has reached a point that many fans describe as unacceptable, and both realities can exist at the same time. Sportingly, Barcelona's defensive transitions have been a mess. Every time the high press is beaten, the backline is left running towards its own goal, with huge spaces behind. Flick remains committed to an aggressive high defensive line and intense pressing as the backbone of his system. But when that press fails, and lately it has failed often, the team looks alarmingly vulnerable. According to reports from Goal, the squad even held an impromptu meeting with Flick to discuss the difficulties of sustaining that high line and constant pressing under certain match conditions. That tells you something. The players themselves are concerned. And let's be clear, if it weren't for Joan Garcia, this situation could be far worse. The goalkeeper has saved points. He has masked defensive chaos. Without him, some defeats might have been humiliations. But we can't hide behind referees either. Individual performances have dropped below the standards expected at Barcelona. Lewandowski hasn't delivered consistently. Ferran has been unreliable. Balde and Koundé have struggled defensively. Ronny Bardghji hasn't imposed himself. When your experienced players dip in form, the system suffers. At the same time, young stars like Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí and Fermín López must find greater consistency. Talent is there, impact must be constant. And there is one more thing we cannot ignore. This team is heavily dependent on Pedri and Rafinha.
Yo no estoy tan escandalizado por el resultado. Y creo que el Barcelona tampoco debería escandalizarse. Si pierde y no va a la final de la Copa del Rey, está peleando luchas más importantes.
Sí.
La verdad. Pero me preocupa lo que trasciende hoy desde Barcelona.
Totalmente.
Que Flick le reclama el esfuerzo, como decía José, a sus jugadores, pero que de acuerdo a reportes, los jugadores le reclamen a Flick la manera de jugar.
When they are on the pitch, Barcelona play at a different rhythm, cleaner circulation, better spacing, smarter decision-making in the final third. When one of them is missing, the drop-off is obvious. The midfield loses control without Pedri's composure and tempo management, and the attack loses unpredictability and vertical threat without Rafinha's aggression and movement. Without them, Barca struggle to create clear chances, struggle to sustain pressure, and suffer far more in transitions. That dependency is real, and until it's solved, this team will continue to look fragile whenever one of its pillars is absent. And structurally, the squad needs reinforcements. A new top-level centre-back. A true elite striker. A reliable left-back.
Instead it's Riasson. It's a good ball in! From Mainz, Riasson. Goalkeeper struggles by Niko Kovac. Riasson's ball in again. It's another brilliant delivery.
If Barcelona want to compete seriously for titles, these are not luxuries, they're necessities. Performances like the ones against Girona or Atletico Madrid simply aren't good enough to win championships. Now here's the other side of the coin, the refereeing. Barcelona have officially sent a letter to the RFEF and the CTA expressing concerns about what they consider repeated damaging decisions. Whether you agree or not, the perception inside the club is clear. They feel targeted. They feel key moments have cost them valuable points in La Liga. Two things can be true at once. Barcelona are underperforming, and controversial refereeing decisions have hurt them. If you want the full picture, not propaganda, not excuses, but the uncomfortable truth, then take a look at this. First, we need to talk about the sporting side of this mess, and especially the tactical basics that are breaking down mainly in defence. Back in the 2024-2025 season, Barcelona controlled defensive depth by reading the exact moment the opponent was about to release the pass. They didn't chase runners, they didn't panic. They stepped up to force the mistake when the passer had poor body shape, limited vision, or no real support. The offside trap wasn't luck, it was coordinated. It was a shared tactical language. The back line didn't move because one centre-back guessed right, they moved together. If the receiver was facing backwards and the inside lane was blocked, the line stepped. If the pass couldn't travel clean and sharp, they squeezed up. That's how they averaged 3.9 offsides, forced per game in 20, 24, 20, 25, with a 68% success rate in regaining control, according to Wisecout. The team was compact, tight, disciplined. They didn't defend space, they defended timing. And the only time they really suffered was when late midfield runners attacked blind spots between fullback and centre-back. Those were surprise situations, not structural collapse. Now in 2025, 2026, the shape looks the same on paper, but the brain behind it isn't. The high line is still there, often even in the opponent's half, but the decision-making has changed. The team jumps automatically. It's robotic. They're stepping up by habit, not by reading the situation. The numbers tell the story. Offsides forced have gone up to 4.3 per game, but efficiency has dropped to 52%, and more than 20% of those actions now turn into defensive chaos. The trap isn't intelligent anymore, it's predictable. And rivals have figured it out. It's not late midfield runners punishing them now. It's wingers and strikers fixing defenders, turning, laying it off, and attacking the space after the third pass. Barcelona's defence today looks more concerned with holding the line than controlling the moment. And when you defend height instead of timing, you become aggressive forward and exposed at the back. Back in 2024-2025, Íñigo Martínez didn't dominate because he was rapid or flashy. He dominated because he thought quicker than everyone else. He gave Barca something priceless: order before danger. He would read the play half a second earlier, adjust the line with a tiny gesture, move Cubarsí, Koundé or Balde with just a step, and trigger the offside trap at the exact worst moment for the passer. That was his superpower. He controlled the when, not just the where. Because of Íñigo, the fullbacks needed fewer emergency sprints. The centre-backs defended facing forward, not running back towards their own goal. The block recovered higher. Barca conceded less because they almost never had to fix chaos late. The structure was set before the threat even appeared. That's elite defending. Fast forward to 2025. 2026. And the problem isn't numbers, it's brains. The names are still good. Cubarsí, Koundé, Araujo, Eric Garcia, Balde. Quality everywhere, but none of them replicate Íñigo's metronome role. He decided when to jump, when to hold, when to drop. Now those decisions are being made mid-action, not before it. And that tiny delay, that's costing the whole block. Without Íñigo, the defence doesn't move with one shared read, it moves with individual interpretations. And the stats back it. According to Wisecout data, centre-back interventions have jumped from an average of 6 to 8.4 per match. More worrying, recovery sprints have gone from 23% to 41%. That means Barca aren't preventing danger early anymore, they're firefighting. You can see it on the pitch. Balde jumps, but the line doesn't always cover him. Insert Eric steps out, but without someone synchronising the height. Araujo wins duels, but often after space has already opened. Cubarsí tries to lead, but he's still learning how to control collective timing the way Íñigo did. The structure hasn't collapsed, but it's lost its conductor. And that's why the name being whispered makes sense. Lisandro Martínez. Look at what happened at Manchester United when he returned from his ACL injury. Under Michael Carrick, he became the pillar again. 3 clean sheets in 10 games since his comeback. Against Tottenham, he wasn't just aggressive, he was precise. 4 tackles, 2 interceptions, 94% pass accuracy from 109 passes and 21 direct balls into the final third. Since his return, United have lost just once in 10 matches. He brings order, he brings character, he brings clarity. In the Manchester derby, he shut down Haaland. Against Arsenal, he controlled space like a veteran chess master. When fit, he's one of the most complete defenders in the Premier League. And stylistically, he screams Barca DNA, progressive passing, defensive timing, leadership without theatrics. Exactly the kind of cognitive centre-back this current Barcelona side is missing. And it's not just the centre-back spot. On the flanks, Hansi Flick and Barca are already scanning the market for answers, and the radar points straight to Germany, specifically to Borussia Dortmund and Julian Ryerson.
Rierson's corner for Dortmund, flicked on and flicked in.
Ryerson's season has not gone unnoticed, not even close. He's been one of the most productive fullbacks in Europe. And what makes him so interesting is his versatility. He can play right back, he can play left back, no drama, no excuses. just graft. Defensively, he's aggressive and switched on, but offensively, that's where it gets tasty. Take his recent Bundesliga performance against Mainz. In just 45 minutes, he delivered 3 assists, setting up Bayer and Girassi, and by full time he had 4 in one match. Madness. That game alone sums up his evolution. He now has 13 assists in all competitions this season, 11 of them in the Bundesliga. That's more than he managed across the previous 10 years of his professional career combined. And here's the mad stat. He's currently the 5th best assister across Europe's top 5 leagues. Only Michael Olise and Luis Diaz at Bayern, Federico Di Marco at Inter, and Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United have more. Now compare that to Barca's current fullbacks. Jules Koundé is technically clean. Yes, solid, reliable. But in terms of direct goal contributions, he's registered just 1 this season. On the other side, Alejandro Balde has managed 3. Between them, that's 4. Ryerson matched that in one half of football. For a coach like Flick, who demands width, tempo, and offensive output from his fullbacks, that simply isn't enough. Modern fullbacks aren't just defenders anymore. They're creators, they're pressure valves, they're final third weapons. And right now, Barca's production from wide defensive areas is nowhere near title-winning level. Ryerson represents intensity, end product, and tactical flexibility. Exactly the kind of profile that fits a high-pressing, high-risk system, but with better recovery and more bite. The message is clear. If Barca want to fix the defensive instability and add real threat from the flanks, change is coming. And it might be wearing black and yellow right now. Now let's be brutally honest. If Barcelona truly want to win the UEFA Champions League this season, they have to fix the defense. No debate, no excuses. To win a tournament like the Champions League, you need a solid backline. Simple as that. After the league phase and qualifying directly for the round of 16, Barca showed worrying fragility. In 8 matches, they conceded 14 goals. That's 1.75 per game. That's massive for a team dreaming of lifting the trophy on 30 May 2026 at the Ferenc Puskás Stadium in Budapest. Going forward, they're stacked. Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, Rafinha, Marcus Rashford, Dani Olmo. They've scored 22 goals in 8 Champions League matches. They can rip apart any defence in Europe. They were the second team this season to hit 100 goals in all competitions, only behind Bayern. Firepower isn't the issue. But here's the problem. When it comes to the biggest nights, against the heavyweight sides, Barca have struggled to impose themselves. The league phase results don't scream future champions. Knockout football is ruthless. One mistake, one bad defensive line, and you're done. There's serious work to do. And there's a stat that exposes everything. Chance creation has been elite. Finishing, a different story. In La Liga, Barcelona lead the league in big chances missed with 61. Real Madrid have 46. Atletico 44. That tells you everything. The volume is there, the efficiency isn't. We saw it against Girona. Dominance without clinical edge means nothing in Europe. Now add the Pedri dependency into the mix. Without him, Barca look hollow, empty. When he's absent, the whole structure drops. In the Champions League, his absence was huge. The 3-3 draw against Brugge, the 3-0 loss to Chelsea. And against PSG, when Pedri left the pitch at 1-1, the game flipped. They lost control. Statistically, it's clear. Without Pedri, high press recoveries drop from 8.43 per match to 6.83. Expected goals fall from 2.14 to 1.76. Progressions into the final third drop from 71.9 to 59.6. And then there's the striker issue. Lewandowski's numbers have dipped. In 2024-2025, Barca hit 100 goals after 32 matches. This season it took 6 more games. Lewa has 13 goals in 1,543 minutes, decent on paper, but last season, when Barca hit 100, he already had 29. That's a massive drop. Yes, Barca still averaged 2.63 goals per match this season. Still strong, still dangerous, but look closer. Ferran Torres lead the scoring with 16, then Yamal with 15, Lewandowski and Rafinha sit on 13. Ferran can be inconsistent. Fermin is still growing. Rashford assists, but isn't a ruthless finisher. Ronnie is raw. Rafinha does everything, presses, creates, scores, but he shouldn't be responsible for carrying the entire scoring burden. Barca create more than anyone. They miss more than anyone. That's why the club need a killer. A proper one. A striker who doesn't hesitate, who doesn't need 3 chances to score once. And that's where Julian Alvarez comes in. Hungry, Elite level experience, relentless work rate, cold in front of goal. He fits the profile perfectly. If the financial puzzle pieces fall into place this summer, don't be surprised if the statement signing has an Argentine accent, because if Barcelona want to win the Champions League, they need more than talent. They need efficiency, they need balance, and they need someone who turns chances into trophies. Now we have to talk about something we don't even like talking about, but we have to. The refereeing this season has been a disgrace, not just for Barcelona, for football. The list feels endless. A clear foul on Jules Koundé that ended in a Girona goal. 7 full minutes of VAR review just to disallow Pau Cubarsi's goal with a decision that still feels impossible to properly explain. Giuliano Simeone planting his studs into Alejandro Balde twice and somehow staying on the pitch. Then there was Anoeta, Real Sociedad versus Barca. A goal from Fermin Lopez ruled out for a supposed foul by Dani Olmo that barely existed. And those millimetric offside calls, like the one on Lamine Yamal, decisions so tight, so forensic, they stop feeling like football and start feeling like laboratory experiments. And then you've got referees who genuinely leave you scratching your head. Soto Grado, for example, the man at the centre of the Girona controversy. He has refereed Barcelona 17 times, 7 defeats, 3 draws. That's a heavy pattern. And what makes it worse is the context. Time and time again, Barcelona drop points under him right after Real Madrid win and take pressure off the title race. Then he gets appointed. Then chaos happens. Again, it's not the first time either. No penalty given on Rafinha in Vallecas. The infamous ghost goal from Lamine Yamal at the Bernabeu not awarded. A penalty given to Lucas Vázquez in that same match. A Joao Felix goal ruled out in Los Carmenes because Ferran supposedly blocked the keeper. It's exhausting. So yes, it's normal Hansi Flick reacted angrily to the media.
What should I say? I think when we start with yellow cards, okay? Normally in the first action with a foul to Balde, it's a yellow card. Seguro, is that the yellow card? And I and then it's everything. It's maybe different, but he invited them to play like this, and the second yellow card was it could be. So it's totally different. But I want to, come on. It's for me. It's a mess. It's a mess.
It's normal the players looked furious.
Lo que sí que quiero decir es que el árbitro. Yo creo que no puedes ni hablar con él y no lo entiendo. Además que soy el capitán, entonces puedo hablar y me mira con una cara como que soy más que tú y tal, y es muy frustrante. Es que
It's normal parts of the press even started talking about maybe we should leave La Liga. When frustration reaches that level, something isn't right. The VAR numbers also tell an uncomfortable story. Barcelona have been punished by VAR 8 times this season, joint highest in the league, alongside Real Madrid. Goals ruled out for Ferran and Fermin. Baina's goal given versus Atletico. Penalties awarded for handballs by Balde, Araujo and Eric. A penalty on Lamine cancelled. A red card reduced to yellow for Peque after a challenge on Eric. It leaves an 8-8 VAR involvement balance. So yes, Barcelona have been affected. There's no denying that. But, and this is important, it's also fair to say they've played badly. Very badly at times. The refereeing controversy cannot hide the footballing problems. There's a recurring symptom with this club. When they enter a run of poor form, it's incredibly hard to escape it. It happened last season. It's happened again this season. And right now, they're stuck in it again. The VAR decisions hurt. The refereeing mistakes frustrate. But the defensive structure is broken. The finishing is inconsistent. The confidence dips quickly. The hope? This squad has talent. Real talent. Lamine, Pedri, Cubarsi, Rafinha. There is football in this team. There is quality. There is potential. The question is whether they can fix the structure, regain belief, and turn the anger into fuel before the season slips away again.